Hi, I'm Johnny, and this is Comics Altruism. This is my entry into ManFromBeantown's 300 subscriber contest, and he's asked us to do two things. He's asked us to shout out 3 YouTube channels that we dig, and then to show off 10 of our most prized books. And I've chosen a couple more than 10 because some of these books I've already shown off in other videos, and I feel that it would be, cheap of me or whatever to just show off the same stuff that I already have. So I've added a couple books to, on top of the ones that I've already shown off. So I'll go through the books first, and then I'll do the shout outs after. And I hope it's okay with you that I went with more than 10. It's only by a couple. Alright, so the first one. It's Adventure Comics number 381. And that's the first solo Supergirl story. That's where she gets her own book. And I don't remember how many issues after this they kept on going with. They're a little out of my price range. I just happened to get a super sweet deal on an auction for that one. And then the next one is Aquaman number 51. And a buddy of mine got that signed by Neil Adams for me. My bachelor party was at Niagara Falls Comic Con last year. And so he, let's just say he was having some extracurricular fun, so he had no problems with going around to the booths to get these signed. But there's the Neil Adams one. He was actually only able to get 2 done before I caught him, because he just disappeared with my books and I didn't realize what he was doing. And frankly, for Neil Adams' signature and the one that's coming up a little bit later, that's a little pricey. I know he was trying to be nice and everything, but I didn't want him hemorrhaging money, especially in his condition. Maybe he didn't know better. So I consider that to be a prized one. Batman number 1, New 52. That's first printing. And then I just showed this one off in JPL Flash's contest. But Avenging Spider-Man number 9, that's the second printing sketch cover. And we got this one's rough. This is one of the ones that I've shown off before. Captain Marvel number 1. I just like to have it. I don't care that it's in a 2.0 or even a 1.8. I mean, technically it's attached. It's just, yeah, you can see from there. All right, next one. I've shown this one off as well. Ms. Marvel number 1. Again, it's kind of a low grade. I think I gave this one a 3.5. But even so, it's you've seen how much this goes for, and I'm glad to have that for what I paid. All right, here's that second signature. Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., number 7, signed by Jim Steranko. Now, in my buddy's state of mind, I could just imagine if we had let Steranko go off on one of his stories, especially after seeing this cover, with the Salvador Dali homage going on there. He probably would have gone on for half an hour like he had with everyone else before him in line. So, kind of nipped that one in the bud. Next up, we've got Savage She-Hulk, number 1. I just picked this one up a couple weeks ago. I don't know how it was so cheap, because this is actually mid-high grade. I'm going to say that's an 8.5. I haven't gone through it yet, but I will very shortly. And then I've shown this one off as well. Spider-Woman number 1, 1978. I like this one, even though it's a lower grade too. Medium grade, 5.0. Power of Warlock number 1. I don't have anything nearing the first appearance of Warlock or anything. That's just way out of my price range. Even what one would consider a lucky auction is still too high for me. So, Power of Warlock number 1. And then these are recent pickups here. These are just kind of add-ons, because right now I'm still thinking that they're super sweet. But first appearance of Rogue, Uncanny X-Men 158. First appearance of Baby Cable. It's 201. I've got a King Size Annual number 3. Now, I got this for way too cheap, because as you might be able to see, that's signed by Jim Shooter and Terry Austin. But the LCS that I got it from, Heroes Comics in London, they can't verify that those are the actual signatures. So I did some investigating, and those are looking pretty much exactly like those two signatures are supposed to look. And some of those, I'll give you a zoom in on Shooter there. You can't do that without like a certain flick of the wrist, or flick of the fingers, I guess, that would come with practice. So if this is a forgery, either of those, it's very well done. So I just kind of trust that those are the actual signatures. Not like I would let that affect the resale value. Same thing as Heroes did. It's just kind of neat to have those. And then this was another one. I got this for just above cover price right after it came out. This is the San Diego Comic-Con exclusive variant to Rick and Morty #1. Rick and Morty #1, if you don't know, by itself, just first printing, is worth a lot of money. And so is this one. Considering what I paid for it, I consider that one of those prized possessions. So that's neat. I had to do some digging, just like you suggested. You know, I don't have a vault or anything, but yeah, I had to do some digging there. So the next thing he wants us to do is to shout out those 3 YouTube channels. So the first one I have to shout out is Josh R. Comics and Gaming. Go check him out. I'll leave the link below to all these ones that I'm about to mention. Firstly, I have to shout him out just because of his generosity. If it wasn't for him, the charitable donations to both of the charities for May and June, it wouldn't have been embarrassing necessarily, but let's just say he really helped us out with some of his purchases. So thank you, Josh. And he's only got 3 videos up as of the recording of this video. He's probably done a bunch more by now because it turns out he's quite prolific. And he's got a very limited number of subscribers. So go over there, check out his stuff, sub him up, like his stuff, comment, all that. Just because he's just getting off the ground now. The next one is Jaguar Ziocoatl. Again, I'll leave the link below, but he's very thorough in some of his research. And even the stuff that he doesn't research, like I'm not into video games, but he has a certain way of communicating that video game knowledge that's pretty cool. I generally don't have time to watch the video game videos, but I do watch the comic videos, and they're always solid. So check him out as well. I'm only shouting out channels that have less than 200 subscribers because I feel like even though, you know, Metarog and Just a Rican, Discovery Bay, etc., they do such great things for the community, but they've already got like, what, 700 for most of them. Who else do we have? Epicurean Eye Relief started just before I did. He's also at less than 200. You gotta check out his contest announcement video because he's got some good stuff, and I don't know what number of entries he's at right now, but it's well worth it, and you need to check that out. I gotta just quickly rhyme off a couple honorable mentions. We've got Comic Fu 2814. We've got Antonimo Bay and Florida's Bluest Angel. I just like her energy, even though it doesn't have anything to do with what I'm interested in. Odd Sock Comics. We've got Ruben Nieves. He's got some great stuff. The list would go on and on, but this video is already too long. All right, so thank you very much for the opportunity in your contest, and have a good night or a good day, whatever it is for you. All right, bye.